Are you tired of looking the same year after year? You keep telling yourself that this time will be different, but nothing seems to change. Then this video is what you need. Just so you know, I'm not talking nonsense. This is what my body used to look like, and this is what it looks like right now. If you keep watching, I'm going to explain how I did it so you can learn from my mistakes and get so much faster results than I did. Step number 1. Believe that you can actually do it. Before we work on our body, we have to work on our mind first. And what I mean specifically with this is our self-belief. The honest truth is, the physical change, right, is so much easier than the mental part. So we have to work on that first. I don't know about you, but before I lost weight, right, my self-belief was so terrible. I kept daydreaming like every single day of having a better physique. But I just remember thinking to myself that I never had what it takes. I will be watching these fitness transformation videos, right? Where they go from being fat or skinny to now looking like a complete beast, muscle everywhere and just looking good. And I remember thinking to myself every single day just how much I wish that could be me. Now, I know you might be thinking, but why should I care about self-belief, right? I just want to lose some weight and get some muscle, right? I don't care about that stuff. If that's your mindset right now, then let me ask you this question. Who is going to get the faster results? The person who believes that they can do it, or the person who doesn't? The answer is very obvious, right? Now, the bigger question is, so how do you exactly improve your self-belief? What really helped me, and I recommend you to do as well, is to develop this why not me mentality. Is there a person out there who's getting in shape as we speak? Why not me? Is there a person out there who's eating healthier foods to take care of themselves? Why not me? Is there a person out there somewhere in the world who's working on their dream body right now as I speak to you? Why not me? There are so many people out there who doesn't have near the same advantages that you and I have right now, and they believe that they can do it. So why not you as well? The point I'm trying to make is that once you start getting your brain, into this positive loop of thinking like all the time, it's so much more powerful than you think, and getting the results that you want actually becomes easier. Quick side note, if you want my help on a one-to-one basis with losing over 20 pounds and building muscle at the same time, just like I have right here, then just DM me on Instagram. I'll put my username on the screen right here, but also in the description. A person who wants something bad enough in their life, they will find a way to get it, no matter what it takes, right? But it all starts with you actually believing that you can do it. So here's my advice to you, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. Don't just tell yourself that you will do it. Actually show yourself. Because here's the truth. Your actions, they're always, and I mean always, gonna speak louder than your words. Step number 2. Create better eating habits. This right here is the reason why you're not getting the results. And this was the same thing for me as well. You just keep eating these bad foods over and over and over. When I was overweight, right, I had like no confidence whatsoever. So as a way for me to find comfort, in my everyday life, I resorted to junk food and video games like every single day. I kept eating the junk food, even though I knew deep down that it was bad to me, but it just gave me so much comfort that I couldn't help myself. I felt happy, when I was eating the food, but afterwards I just felt worse every single time. And, it turned quickly into this dark cycle, just over and over and over. Once I started to clean up the diet, then I actually managed to see some results. And, after just a couple of days, my mental health was already improving. So what do I exactly mean, with cleaning up the diet? Basically, that you eat whole foods as much as possible. Just real food with like no weird ingredients in them, and it doesn't have to be complicated like whatsoever. I personally keep it so simple when it comes to food. Rice, potatoes, fish, chicken, meat, and all those things. My primary focus when it comes to eating is just to eat as much protein as possible. Not only because, it helps to build more muscle, but mainly because out of carbs and fats, protein is the one thing that's going to keep you full for the longest. I know you heard this so many times before, but please try and avoid the processed foods as much as possible. Firstly, they're just packed with all these bad ingredients for you, but next to that, they're so calorie dense on top of that, so it's so much easier, to overeat them. And at the end of the day, they don't even keep you full for long either. Having all these sugary snacks and junk foods so easy to access in your home, it makes things like 10 times harder than it has to be. And the rule that I like to follow is out of sight, out of mind. The approach that helped me is to think about it not like a diet, right, but more so a lifestyle. Or thinking about it this way, you don't feel the need to like rush the process and do like all these things at the same time. Ease yourself into it and slowly get better eating habits. Because here's the problem when it comes to things like diet. The word diet has this really bad reputation around it, right? It's something you do for a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months, and every single time you go back to your old ways, and that the weight just slowly is coming back again, right? It was once I started to see it as a lifestyle change rather than a diet, and easing yourself into it. That's when real progress actually happens. Make it enjoyable for yourself. You don't have to be that person who only eats like chicken, broccoli and rice every single day, because that is not gonna be consistent for you. At least it wasn't for me, because I got so tired of it just like a couple of weeks in. So eat the foods that you actually like. And there are so many different ways, so many different recipes out there that you can just try for yourself that can make the food healthier but also tasty at the same time. If you have the option, to eat healthy and look good for the rest of your life, of course you're gonna take it, right? And the only way this is actually possible is if you eat the foods that you actually like and slowly just work on that consistency. Don't go all in from the start, remove the bad foods slowly over time. I keep talking about slowly over time because if you rush the process, the only thing that's gonna happen, and why I'm telling you this, is because this happened to me. You get overwhelmed and then you just quit and you're back to square one. Small things that you can do right now is, example, go for sugar-free versions instead of the full sugar ones. For me personally, I like to drink soda, right? So that's exactly what I did. I went for the zero version instead of the full sugar one. And by doing it this way, I just ignored all this unnecessary sugar in my body and I can still enjoy myself. Here's the thing, I'm not saying that you can never have junk food or sugary snacks ever again. What I am saying is, when you take longer periods without eating them, the times that you actually do get to treat yourself is going to taste so much better. And on top of that, you're not going to feel bad about eating it because you're not doing it as often anymore, right? Step number 3, start resistance training. Now, improving your self-belief and cleaning up the diet, that will get you good results. But be honest with yourself here. You come to this video not to get good results, but you actually want great results, right? The best way to do this is to start resistance training. You put your muscles under stress, so in return it helps them to grow stronger but also bigger at the same time. I personally go to the gym. It's just a nice environment to be in. You can put the music on that you like, right, and just completely zone in on the workout. And it's something that you can just look forward to during the day as well. Now, depending on your experience, I would recommend you to go 3 days a week minimum. But if that sounds like so much to start with, then just start with 1 day a week, then go to 2 days a week, and so on. Start building consistency before you increase the days that you work out. To help you along the way, I'll put a 3-day workout plan on the screen right now that you can copy or simply get some ideas from. I personally go about 5 days a week, right? However, I didn't start with that right away. I did the same approach like I mentioned to you earlier. You start with about 3 days a week, you stay consistent, then you do 4 days a week, you stay consistent, and then you do 5 days a week, and so on. The only time, as I mentioned earlier, you only increase the days as you get more consistent, because otherwise you're going to end up doing too much at the start and then you're going to quit. And why I'm telling you this, because this is also what happened to me. Step number 4, increase your general activity. Now, the combination of doing resistance training and adding a daily activity on top of that is the complete game changer, because most of us, we just sit still every single day and we don't move our body as much as we should. The approach that I followed, and I recommend you to do the same, is to just focus on doing more walking. It's easy to do, it's not stressful on your body, and most importantly, you actually get some good results. Start with about 30 minutes a day, and as we get more used to it, we can always increase the time. And I keep telling you about this over and over and over. Consistency should always be the main focus, because you may be thinking to yourself, oh, I'm just gonna do twice that because I want faster results. Trust me when I say this, you will not stay consistent with the amount that you do, and you're just gonna end up quitting. Some small hacks that you can use, on a day-to-day basis to actually increase your amount of activity is to be more aware of it while you're outside. And let me give you an example so you know what I mean. You know, most of the time when you're going somewhere, let's say the mall, right? You take the escalator or the elevator, right? But what if you took the stairs instead? If you take the stairs consistently on a day-to-day basis, let's say if you're at work or school, this makes a significant difference in your fat loss progress as well. Now, depending on how many floors you have to go up, then it's maybe not optimal to take the stairs every single time, right? But if you have the opportunity, try and take the stairs as much as possible. You know, not only will it increase your daily step count, but on top of that, you will make faster progress when it comes to losing fat and actually building muscle as well. Remember, if you want my help on a one-to-one basis, where I help you lose fat and build muscle at the same time, just like I have right here, then just DM me on Instagram. I'll put my username on the screen right here, but also in the description. If you want to see more content just like this, then why not click and watch this video next?